You are now watching abnormal television. There are images that defy logic, recordings untouched by reason, and moments that science cannot explain. Each frame, a whisper from the unknown. Open your eyes. You've entered the abnormal.
What's that? Oh, three large creatures were seen in Jerusalem, stirring about and starting a fire? Tell me more! Apparently, three ginormous creatures, roughly about 20 to 25 feet tall, were seen stirring the air around, and then shortly after, a fire began. Oh, fun! People said this only lasted for about 10 seconds of the creatures stirring and then starting the fire, and then they disappeared. Okay. They were also described as being human-like, yet having horns on their head. Okay. I'm not sure what we're dealing with here, but let's keep the galactic war in the sky and leave us here on the ground alone. Okay. People heard these beings say, "We'll be back for more." Oh, goody.
I often get asked what my thoughts are on what's outside the firmament. And when I first woke up, I really thought it was just us, the firmament, and then the spirit world. But I think my thoughts on that have changed. You see, I personally have found and researched beings that existed that don't seem like they would fit in what we know as the Earth. Here's a dragon that, with its head down to its bottom, stretches over 245 miles in length. Here's another dragon whose head, just its head, the corpse, petrified corpse of its head only is 387 miles. Now, imagine beings being this huge and being confined to what we know of the Earth, and where Antarctica would just end, and that would be it. Here's another one in Egypt that I literally think is Anubis, and you can see its little dog head here with its eye and its nose. This thing stretches from head down. It even has a tail to 160 miles in length. So what I truly think now is that we are just an anthill living in a much, much larger being's world. Just a little anthill in a giant, flat realm. And I don't even think that goes against the teachings of the Bible. The Bible could literally just be talking about our little pressed out like a seal area of this larger realm, and literally just be talking about us. And the Bible is the basic instructions before leaving Earth. And maybe outside of Earth, our spirit goes on. Maybe we literally are just having an experience here. And the realm outside of here is much, much bigger and different. And now what I want to show you, I saw a couple years ago, but it hasn't made it to all the platforms. And I think it's a very important thing for people to see.
Hey guys, what you're going to see in this video is a phenomenon known as crown flash. This is possibly the very best example of crown flash ever recorded and ever uploaded to the internet. This was observed above Independence, Missouri. Notice how the light is curving around the cloud right there. I paused it right there for presentation purposes. Again, this is ultra rare. Since record keeping began, this has only been seen a few dozen times around the entire world. And to capture it on video is equally, if not more rare. In my humble opinion, this is the best video of this ultra rare phenomena ever recorded. You can see once again in this format, I simply inverted the format. Light is dark, dark is light. Looks like a spotlight over there in the sky moving around. But this is a natural phenomena. Even though it doesn't look natural, it is just super ultra rare. And again, to have video footage of something like this in this capacity is absolutely outstanding. And in my humble opinion, opinion, this is probably the very best video in the world on the internet of this rare phenomena ever recorded above Independence, Missouri.
This is crazy. I walked outside as I heard a noise. I hear sirens in the background, and I see this huge trail coming through the air. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but what the heck is this? What is that?
¿Lo grabaste?
They told us Tartaria was nothing, a myth, a mistake, a label on an old map that no one cares to explain. But when we looked deeper, we didn't find a myth, we found a civilization. And not just a civilization, one they buried everything to forget. They erased the name, but they couldn't erase the footprints. Massive stone structures built with no scaffolding, no blueprints, no explanation. Architecture that functioned like a living circuit, with domes, spires, antennas, and copper crowns to draw energy from the air. Ventilation systems that cooled without electricity. Grounding plates that stabilized entire buildings like electrical batteries. All before the industrial age. All before modern science could explain it. We didn't build these. We uncovered them. We paved over them like they were garbage. But they weren't garbage. They were our inheritance. They tell us the World's Fairs were temporary, but they looked exactly like Tartaria. Chicago, St. Louis, San Francisco, Paris, London. Across countries, across languages, the same style, same domes, the same fate. Built in under 2 years, then demolished. Why? Because they were revealing too much. And when the buildings couldn't be hidden fast enough, they called in the fires, they called in the wars. And we haven't even touched what they did to the people. The orphan trains, the fondling homes, the relocation programs that moved hundreds of thousands of children across countries with no paperwork, no explanation, no trace of the parents that they came from. Where were the mothers? Where were the fathers? Where are the records? You don't get millions of orphans without a disaster, and you don't move them in silence unless you're erasing something. They weren't just repopulating cities. They were reprogramming humanity. We were told to forget Tartaria, that it was fiction. But if it was fiction, why did they remove it from the atlases by the late 1800s, rewrite the encyclopedias, demolish structures with unexplained function, relocate a generation of children? Why the panic? Why the silence? Why the effort? Because Tartaria wasn't a myth. It was a memory. One they couldn't afford us to keep. So what did they take from us? Everything. Our understanding of energy, our cities, our technology, our history, and maybe most painfully, our people. But they didn't count on one thing. We remembered. In ruins, in stories, in blueprints, in basements, in old books, in strange maps, in the faces of children who never knew where they came from. We remembered, and now we're saying it out loud. Tartaria was real. They took it from us, and now we want it back. Not the buildings, not the symbols, the truth, and the power that came with it.
Now look, right, see? This is ancient.
All this ancient. Look at that. That's not supposed to be this close. You understand? This roof is not supposed to be. It's locked up right now, as you can see. They lock buildings up too. They lock your ass up, lock the animals up, and lock the building up. You know, we dealing with some real sickos. But above and beyond that, look at this. Right here, bro. The roof is right there. You know it's not supposed to be that close. This is not the first floor. This is all roof. It's all roof. That's all roof. This place been abandoned for a while. And they converted it to a church. This wasn't a church. This is ancient right here. This is something that was here before they got here. And you can see where they tried to do some patchwork up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this structure, man. This shit real. Look, boom. Look how big this shit is. It's huge. But the roof is right here, so you know it goes deep.
When I uploaded an image of this train, it was accused of being AI and fake. But a simple Google search will tell you that the Steamliner Mercury train was in fact very real. And it was in operation right up until 1959. So really not even that long ago. And while its first service was in 1936, I wonder if it was simply a recreation of pre-reset old world technology. As a lot of Art Deco and steampunk styles could come from the Tartarian era. And if you're familiar with Tartaria, then you're probably already aware of the idea that a lot of rail tracks were simply dug up and found and not laid by us, because an advanced civilization already existed prior to us. And as you can see, the interior of these trains were far more spacious and comfortable than the cramped modern forms of transport.
Look at this. Look at the fucking state of the city. This is Rome, guys.
Like the Casbah.
This looks like in Bangladesh or something. Look at this, guys. Look at the state of this place. Look at this, guys. This is Rome. This is Europe. Does this look like Europe to you? I don't see a single Italian here, guys. I am more Italian than any of these people. Look at this.
Occhio amico mio, perché noi qua non siamo ben visti, quindi stiamo sempre attenti, occhi aperti.
Sì.
È la strada molto pericolosa dove spacciano e vendono roba falsa.
Saying that the street is dangerous.
Qua sono pericolosissimi.
Sì. Perché?
Perché hanno i coltelli tutti quanti, i maceti. Con
Maceti?
Sì, loro.
Che no.
Tutti.
Look at all these guys.
Non fatti vedere troppo qua. Una telecamera, amico mio.
Yeah. Look at all the shits on the floor. And here they are, just loitering.
Molto pericolosi, no? Fanno niente.
Very dangerous, he's saying.
Se passo là io adesso, sono un centinaio, mi caricano, sicuro, sicuro.
There's a river that carves a slow, meandering path through the high plains of the American West. And along its banks, I noticed something unusual on Google Earth. A bend in the river had carved the earth in such a way that a tall, narrow bridge of land was left standing in the middle of the valley. I was very curious to see what this geologic feature looked like in real life, so I charted a route to get out to it. But within a couple steps into my hike, I found something incredible. And by the end of that day, I was convinced that this was one of the most compelling and historic locations I had ever stumbled upon. Let's go do it, buddy. What's really interesting? That's so crazy. So this looks like some lithic scatter, but the weird thing is it's just sitting right on the side of this anthill. There's more. So maybe these ants built their hill right on the top of a site where somebody was making projectile points. And they just moved it around. Look, there's little pieces everywhere here. I've never seen that before. So my best guess is these ants moved these stones when they were piling up rocks to make their anthill. And they probably built this right on the site, so they've become a part of the anthill. How cool is that? I mean, you can see these little flakes embedded all the way up there. There's probably more on the inside. Dude's getting bit. Let's keep going, dude. Come on, get out of there. Well, that was quite interesting. I never would have noticed those if not for them being right on the side of that anthill. So you see there's a lot of flint just laying around on the ground here. I mean, that was a pretty big anthill, so you'd have to assume it's pretty old. You know, many, many years old. But there's no way it could be older than when those lithic shards were put down. So check it out. Just walking by on the ground.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a kneecap. So since I've been gone, everybody's became an expert at knowing what a clone looks like. Now, they say that I said, if I ever go missing and come back, I must be a clone. Well, when I was missing, I told you where I was. I put it on my TikTok, bruv. If you're a true follower, you should have known where I was. You should know where I was at. And you know what's funny? There's most of these people that are saying I'm a clone. They ain't even got no profile picture, bruv. I don't even know who they are. So they don't know who I am. People are saying I look different. Who looks the same? It's a year and a half later. Not 3 years. People say I've been gone for 3 years. Okay, obviously you can't count. They say it takes 3 years for a clone to grow. I don't know where you man are hearing this from. Okay? Why would the government clone the bully slayer? That's dangerous. Cloning the bully slayer. Oh, you son of a kneecap. That's gonna backfire. That's gonna bite you on the ass. So, a lot of people are saying, because I'm not talking about Tartaria, I must be cloned. Wait a minute. I'm the Tartarian king, goddammit. I said, let me breathe. Let me do a victory lap. Let me celebrate my return before I get back into the content. And I've got people in the comment sections say, oh, he talks different. His mannerisms different. His eye, come on, brother. You don't know me. You don't know me, and I find it funny still that everybody has gone paranoid, schizophrenic, mad. You've gone mad, bruv. You might want to check the doctor for that, honestly, because the conspiracy thing is doing your head in, bruv. Imagine that we do need to band together. Imagine that there is a war of consciousness coming up, and we need leaders, we need soldiers. You ain't gonna be in the army. You're gonna be so paranoid, you ain't even gonna trust yourself. I don't even know if you're a clone. I don't even know you. But for my true followers that know me, for the people that live in my city that know me, and for the people that know where I went, come on, Brad, let's keep it 1-5
You see, this is exactly why I have trust issues with mainstream archaeology. Every single time we uncover something interesting that doesn't fit into the official academic timeline of history, it's either mocked and labeled a con, or they do this. So in 2011, Russian cave explorer Arthur Zhemyukov made a wild discovery in the region of North Caucasus in Russia. At the top of the Kara-Hora mountain range, he found something that revealed an unwritten chapter of human history. At first, it just seemed like a deep hole leading into a cave formation inside the mountain, so he decided to check it out himself. himself, and as he went down this narrow vertical opening, he started to notice this wasn't any regular cave shaft. On his descent, he saw massive parallel stone blocks, polished flat and perfectly geometrically aligned with each other. We're talking straight edges, right angles, and intricately chiseled formations that indicated this definitely wasn't natural, it was engineered. Him and his team explored deeper and found out that this shaft was so much beyond our understanding than he ever thought. This is the Karahora shaft, and I don't care what anyone says, someone, like an intelligent being, clearly made this. Inner passageways with perfectly straight, polished walls going down 40 meters into the mountain, leading into a larger chamber with 36-meter-high ceilings filled with enormous megalithic slabs fitted together and arranged in perfect alignment with each other, like they were intentionally placed there, with some blocks appearing to be up to 200 tons, and nothing can explain how anyone would have moved these stone megaliths into this narrow shaft. The total distance from the very top of the shaft down to the lowest part of the explored chamber was around 100 meters, about the height of a 25-story building, and there appeared to be more tunnels and chambers below that went even deeper into the mountain, which are still undiscovered. Clearly an artificial construction of a monumental scale, an absolute groundbreaking find by any means, and as per usual, absolutely no historic records of any structure like this documented anywhere in this region. The team even filmed their exploration for a Russian TV documentary, mapping out the shaft to reveal its true detailed architecture, with block arrangements that looked incredibly similar to the ones found in the Grand Gallery of the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt. It also features several tunnels that don't seem to have been designed to be accessed by humans, just like we see in the Egyptian pyramids. No ladders, stairs, or any easily accessible means of traversing many of these passageways. Even small side tunnels that no human can fit through, and oddly enough, the team felt a constant draft of air blowing up into the chamber from deeper underground, suggesting this wasn't built for habitation, but rather some sort of other functional purpose. Possibly a subterranean complex of another larger structure that used to exist on top of the mountain. Perhaps the entire mountain itself was an ancient megastructure, like a pyramid that's been heavily eroded over time. What if it was, dare I say it, an ancient energy power generator, part of a system of global power plants that produce energy for an ancient advanced civilization that lived here tens of thousands of years ago. Just like the Giza power plant theory suggests the pyramids of Egypt may have been. Whatever it is, it's clearly something that was built by an intelligent species, undocumented in an absolute feat of ancient human engineering, or maybe even non-human engineering, just a theory. Above ground, the surrounding area has even more carefully sculpted stones all around it, with what appear to be machine marks all over them. Flat surfaces, straight cuts, and massive stone blocks stacked perfectly together, indicative of man-made production. But our cave explorer Arthur didn't find the shaft by accident. In fact, he was intentionally searching for it. Many ancient legends in the North Caucasus region about sprawling underground cities have been told and passed down for generations. And while researching old World War II documents written by those Germans, there was one particular topic that caught Arthur's attention: the Ahnenerbe, a project initiated by top German commanders with the primary objective of restoring ancient occult practices and powers, who conducted operations around the world to find the most sought-after ancient relics and mystical sites that allegedly held power beyond our understanding. Expeditions for the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, the mythical underground city of Shambhala, uncovering the secrets of Antarctica. These guys were on a mission. When the Germans launched Operation Edelweiss to capture the oil-rich regions of the North Caucasus in Russia, the mountain ranges were one of the hot spots on their hit list, the assumed home of an ancient advanced civilization who left behind traces of their esoteric knowledge. Among this region was the Karahora Mountain, which they actually got really close to discovering the shaft themselves. And they even marked some of the surrounding stones with, you know, their trademark symbol. It was through studying these old wartime documents that Arthur finally located the site, assuming there to be many, many more structures and full-blown underground cities in this mountain range, which still remains largely unexplored. In 2015, Arthur claims to have made yet another groundbreaking discovery about the shaft and the surrounding region, insisting that he gathers more resources for his expedition ASAP, and literally the next day, he gets hit by a car and passes away. Yeah, for real, I can't make this shit up. Then Viktor Chernobrov, another explorer who accompanied Arthur in many of his explorations, dies of cancer 2 years later. Then 3 more team members involved in the expedition all abruptly pass away within that same time span. Was this just another huge coincidence, as I'm sure the debunkers are insisting it is, or did Arthur and his team find something that they weren't supposed to? Today, there isn't much information on the shaft or any explorations in the surrounding mountain range, with no new updates released about any of this for years and no plans in place to explore further, likely out of fear of having an accident if you do. If you genuinely think this is a natural formation and nothing suspicious is going on here, go get help.
Oh shit.
Ben,
Yeah, I know. Listen, I threw it into reverse and it didn't move, so just relax. Let me drive.
10-4.
Thank you.
I used to think demons weren't real either. But what I would suggest to you is it's more likely that they're keeping themselves hidden in your life, because once you are alarmed to demonic control in your life or possession, then you are much more likely to seek help. You may not believe in demons, but I've been through enough, seen enough, and most of the grown men that I know do believe in demons. They've seen the evil of the world. I would say maybe try to start cutting out certain sins in your life that the Bible calls sins, and then see if they start manifesting, and you can see if they're working in your life. I used to think just some of my downfalls, some of my struggles that I had were purely physical. But once I realized that everything that we deal with in this world is spiritual, then I was able to understand that demons are very real.
This is so disturbing. Like a religious thing, says fans about Lady Gaga concerts. Religious, I wonder what they're worshiping. And we're gonna get into hands and nails just like this that we've been seeing quite a while, and demonic traditions of these nails. And just wait till we go into the really creepy stuff. Before we go any further, I rebuke all this witchcraft in Jesus' name. 2.5 million people are watching this and literally picking up demons. This is no joke. There are even many self-proclaiming Christians in this crowd that think it's fine. But we really gotta ask ourselves, what kind of trend is this with these really long fingernails? And you think these two things on our head are just an accident? No. It's extremely purposeful, because they are portraying themselves as demons. Even in that one video, I caught her eyes glitching, which obviously means demonic possession. And this video behind me is completely irrelevant, not related at all, just entertainment while I tell you about how we've been seeing so much demonic possession lately.
Hold on a minute. Sir, could somebody help me?
I wonder what that was about, right? But what I want to talk about is the nails, because we keep seeing this over and over again with this and everyone else, especially in satanic circles. And by the way, look down here, all the demonic energy flowing from these people dressed as demons, possessed by demons. In ancient traditions, they would try to mimic what their gods look like. And I'm sure you can tell that's not a good thing. Am I saying that if you have long nails, you're evil? No, but I'm letting you know how it got started. It doesn't take rocket science to show you how these people right here are on the opposite side that you are. So why would we go and try to mimic them when they're obviously doing religious celebrations to the devil? And if you watch me, you know I don't post imagery like this to try to gather views like other Christian trenders. Generally, I'll never post anything blasphemy, but the amount of people in that crowd, the fact that they know it's a religious service, And why we've been seeing hands like this and nails like this, it's a good teaching lesson. Anyways, guide your ears, guide your eyes. You have no idea how easy it is to pick up a demon.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.